Hello everyone, this is Vi. We're checking out Girls Lovecast. This is a game I've not played before. We're going to give it a playtest, see if we can give some useful feedback. I've got the game page open here. It says, summary, Girls Lovecast is an action-adventure RPG in which girls try their best and defeat darkness. To explore dungeons to fight demons, and to explore hub areas, talking to people to gather clues and complete side quests. Disclaimers. Read the devlog to see what's changed, especially for version 0.1.0 alpha plus build. In the new scenario, the overworld city is pretty empty right now, and the game just ends when you try going to school, lol. Okay, good to know. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Get rid of the overlay. So at the moment, this is in a window, and it's asking me to select a screen resolution, so I've not seen anything past this. Oh my gosh, that's loud. I've not seen anything past the screen. Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn off. Let's turn the capture way down. I'm assuming that's going to be what we can expect from the rest of the game here. So this is F to select, which is a little strange, but let's go ahead and try that. Looks like we got the resolution right, but we are still in windowed mode. I don't know, can I Alt Enter this? Looks like Alt Enter works. We are in borderless window mode currently, not sure if that matters or not. I guess Enter, I want to hit the Enter key. I guess it wants me to use F. Oh, okay, so now it's asking me to toggle this. I already hit Alt Enter, but I guess we can do this. So I think this is on windowed, even though I hit Alt Enter. So technically, it showed the wrong toggle state in the little selector thing here, I guess. But alright, yeah. So it's a little weird using F to select things, but here's our little girls, I guess. New game. Load game, config, exit. Again, F to select. Alright, screen resolution, toggle full screen, master volume. Text speed, toggle, normal, fast, immediate, slow. Okay. Always run toggle off. Interestingly, if I hit the button kind of fast, it doesn't... It just kind of eats some of the inputs. It doesn't work as fast as I hit the button in the menu here, so I'm not sure what the idea is there, but I guess it doesn't make much of a difference. Not sure what this is about the OS kernel uptime packages. I don't know, just some UI flavor or something going on here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit escape key. So escape key is not getting me out of this menu. Looks like it wants me to hit the D key to cancel, I guess. It's a little weird. It's using these like really custom buttons. So like most games, you know, like using the arrow keys for the menu is fine, but like most games you can hit enter and that'll work in the menu, right? And you can hit escape and that works as kind of like the back button in the menus, right? So I definitely recommend that you kind of stick to the conventions and use those. It's okay if like you have other keys too, like you can still use F and D or whatever you want to do, but in my opinion it's nice to use like the same keys that like every other game uses for this kind of thing. It's just very standard. That being said, also it'd be nice to have, you know, a couple more options here. Like I always bug people about adding like an exclusive full screen option. I'm not sure what kind of action is going to be in the game here, but having exclusive full screen as well as like a VSync toggle, these are things that can reduce input latency, which can be important in some games. Just helps you play better in general. So yeah, I always advocate for that kind of thing. At the least, let's see, D is back, so I guess we're gonna go ahead and hit new game. I don't know what the controls are gonna be, or what, I don't even know what kind of gameplay this is. Like, it's some kind of action RPG. But we will find out. Interesting. So it did like a little animation before it went into the loading. I don't know if it's going to do that every time you load the game or not. Okay. Oh gosh. Through training she can form it into a weapon to defend what she loves. Interesting. This is every magical girl's first Lovecast. Okay. I get to be the magical girl, I assume. Oh my goodness. I know I saw it come in here. Use the arrow keys to move, use F key to interact with the environment, hold the D key to sprint or walk, change in settings, bring up the main menu with the E or escape key. Okay. So in this case we have, wow, okay. In this case we have menus on escape. That's nice. I like it there. Our config is here. Looks like we got status. Level 1. Got some stats there. It's not hyper visible. I can read it fine, but it's sort of a light, semi-light blue against a white background. Maybe not ideal, especially with the very thin sort of text there. If this happened to be on a smaller screen, it'd probably be pretty hard to read. I might even, these days you might have to start thinking about things like the, what do they call it? The Steam Deck there, where it has the little 7-inch screen and everything. maybe that's going to be a thing in the near future where a lot of people are using those. I don't know. What is it? D to get out of here. So yeah, again, like I'd like to hit the escape key again to get out of this, but all right. So for now we have. It mentioned the controls. I guess is D to do our running. All right. Yeah. So the movement feels a little weird because. Okay, so there's some kind of inertia going on here, but it's I don't know, it's like it kind of seems like it slows down slower than it accelerates or something. I don't know, but it just feels slidey. So this kind of feels like I'm on ice. You know, like a lot of games do this thing where like you have ice and it just kind of makes you slide around. That's what this feels like to me right now. So I don't know if the whole game is going to feel like this, but if this is in fact an action game, I generally encourage developers to maybe err on the side of having too little inertia rather than too much, because it's very common in my experience for developers to kind of have a lot more inertia than they really need on the movement, and it really drags the gameplay down because it makes your movement just less responsive and precise in general. So we'll see how that pans out. I guess nobody's there. So this was run, and then E was the menu. I think that was all. It only briefly mentions the controls. It's not necessarily ideal. I mean, I don't know. I just have a terrible memory, so you have to take that into account, I guess. But this looks very messy. I kind of want to use like the shift key. It's really natural for me to, you know, from so many other like FPS games and such to kind of like hold the shift key for running, that kind of thing. And it's a little weird to use D in my opinion. I know it's maybe meant to control a little bit more like a console game mode or something, but the drawers are locked. Yeah, and also like, all right, I gotta reposition. I'm trying to hold it like the WASD kind of thing. So I'm noticing I'm reaching for the F key. I guess I just need to shift my hand since I'm not actually gonna be using the shift key. I don't think so. That should solve that problem. Just have to get used to it here. Yeah, I don't really like the feeling of how much I slide after I let off the input here and that kind of thing. So even without like encountering any wait a minute. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Oh, okay, so that was a little weird. I guess there was something like a little tiny cutscene or something. I was just reacting to a noise. I think that's what happened, but so the game did this thing where it kind of took control away from me for a few moments, and then suddenly gave it back. But there's no indication on the screen that it's taking control away from me or that it's giving it back. So it kind of can create this confusion to the player where they don't realize, for instance, that they're supposed to be controlling the game now or something like that. So I think that's what happened. There's also, I guess there's a little bit of a delay after the screen loads before I can actually move. Makes it feel a little bit sluggish, I don't know. But I think that's what happened. So if if I'm correct about that, Like one thing that you see in some games, which works really well, in my opinion, is whenever it goes into a sort of cutscene moment, it does the little the black bars on the top and the bottom of the screen. Obviously, it's kind of mimicking the cinematic look, but it, in my opinion, is like very effective in just giving you something visually to clearly indicate that, okay, here's a moment where you don't have control, and then as soon as the bars disappear, then it's like, okay, it's time for you to take control of the game again, and it really helps to just have that visually indicated on the screen. So I guess this is where I was before. And this changes, so I went to the right, and then now I'm going downwards. It kind of changes orientations where your cardinal directions or whatever kind of getting rotated around depending on the doors you're going through here. Still want to mess everywhere. I guess I can't control again. It's definitely in here. It's another moment where the game kind of took control away from me. Obviously, when I see like the portrait and the text box pop up and stuff, then it's like obvious that I'm not in control in that moment, but you see all these other moments where it's still on the screen. Would just be a nicety to have that visually indicated in some form. There you are. So I'm looking for this black blob. This seems like something that magical girls would do. Okay, F key to fire, D is dodge. Hold down the S key to move slowly. This helps you aim better. Alright, it's F, D, and S, I guess. Oh gosh. Alright, oh, this is interesting. Okay, so not what I'm used to. Boy, is that loud. I hope I turned it down enough. So I definitely recommend, you know, it's a very common problem that people make the audio in their games like way too loud. So I always recommend like just open up YouTube or just run some other games on Steam or something and just get like a general idea of what an average volume level is and compare your game to that. It's getting late. Something's wrong. Uh-oh. A bunch in here. G key, okay, we're using S, D, F, and G. That's a little bit weird. Is the A key gonna be used? It seems a little bit more natural if you're gonna have like 4 keys in a row that you'd use like A, S, D, F. But so far we're using S, D, F, G, so that's kind of weird. Like I have to position my hand over further than I usually would. Potentially could be a little uncomfortable, and also so shifting my hand over one, that means I have to like reprogram my brain about where like the F and D keys are for like interacting and different things like that. So now like the next button is going to be on my middle finger. If my index finger is going to be on G, I'm not even sure if this is right. Like maybe the A key is going to be introduced later. It's a little weird. But there's the lightning spell. Any more of them? Oh my gosh. I guess so. Lovecast activated. What does that mean? Ultimate attacks there. Activated during battle through various methods. Okay. Press the spacebar when your orange Lovecast gauge is full to unleash your ultimate attack. So what's using the spacebar? Wait. Right, there's the ultimate attack. Alright, so this is a bit of a tutorial section here. I have some opinions about this. Okay, so I'm gonna not continue the text here for a moment so I can talk about what just happened here. So, right off the bat, it kind of introduced the combat controls. It tells you about your movement, your shooting, your dodge, and like your slower movement thing. So it gives you like all this stuff, like the 3 different buttons and stuff, and of course the arrow keys. And It throws you into this battle. It's like, okay, it's time to learn how these buttons work and how they feel and stuff. But you shoot the guy and he just dies instantly, and then it kind of transitions into the next screen. So I didn't even have the chance to like try the other buttons. Like in theory, I could have just not shot the guy and ran into the corner and just messed around for a while, but um, it doesn't necessarily make sense. It's easy to just shoot the guy, and so my point being, it didn't really give me enough time to experiment with those different things. And then what happens next is that it immediately introduces yet another button, and it says, okay, now it's time to press this. And you just press it and it happens. Then it immediately introduces yet another button, along with this whole concept of like the super mode. However that works, it was just kind of vaguely hinted at. And it says, okay, press that button, and you can see what that does. So kind of what's going on here is the game is like, this is clearly supposed to be like a tutorial section where you're kind of learning by doing, which is great in theory, but in the way that this is executed, it's like cramming all of the buttons into a very, very short period of time. You don't actually have the chance as the player to learn them properly. So in my opinion, what would be more ideal, it's probably okay that you introduce like the I mean, it's not so bad to introduce the basic combat controls, like the 3 buttons that are mentioned all at once. I mean, maybe that's fine. I don't know, maybe ideally you'd do them one at a time. I don't know, but it's not that big a deal. But at least, give a longer segment where maybe I could just fight that guy or several guys for a while and experiment with the different buttons for a little while. Uh, you know, give me some time there. And then, in my opinion, when it comes to the other things, I wouldn't necessarily just introduce them right away. So I think it's more ideal if you give the player like a space of time where they can play the game for a bit, so that they can get what you just taught them really ingrained and make it sort of something they don't have to think about anymore. They just, okay, they know how to do this by now. They have experience with it. It's just ingrained in what they're doing. And then you introduce the next thing, and then at that point, it's only one thing, so they can kind of process that properly, where it's just one new thing, and it's like, oh, now I have this new button. And then they can like incorporate that into what they already know, and then you give them a little more space of time, and then you introduce the next thing, right? So I think that kind of works a lot better, rather than you just cramming everything into just 2 minutes here. It's not really doing the job of teaching, in my opinion, in the way that it needs to. It's pretty unusual for there to be so many this close to town. I should check the other rooms. HP and MP restored. Alright. So it takes me out of combat, which means that I can't experiment with the combat buttons anymore, which would also be nice, because usually, speaking of teaching and stuff, when it comes to controls in particular, it's usually really helpful to have downtime where the player can experiment with the controls. In this case, I can't, because the controls are disabled for the combat, right? So I'm assuming that won't be re-enabled until I'm in combat again, which means it's more of a high-stakes situation, as opposed to if I could use it during the downtime here, then there would be no stakes involved, and there's no chance of me dying or anything, so I can just kind of use that freely, and I can say, okay, this is how this is how the dodge feels, and this is how aiming feels, and stuff like that, and I can just mess with that as much as I want. So that would be really helpful to have that in here somewhere. Just some kind of, if not being able to use it between combat, just somewhere incorporate some kind of section where I can mess around with, I don't know, but in my opinion, it's pretty natural to have even the downtime like this, just to incorporate the combat controls into this as well. Looks like we got some hearts hanging out. Save the game. F key to interact with save point. Alright. So I can't open this up again. Do I have to like walk away and then... Okay. We got a nice little confirmation dialogue. I think I'd rather not have to walk away from that and then walk into it again to activate it again. If I had some reason to do that, then it'd just be a sort of pointless thing to have to do there. I guess this is just an empty room. I don't know why this whole place is so trashed. Oh wait, there's a person here. Wow, I very nearly didn't notice this person at all. Old man. Okay. It's a mirror here for some reason. You look pretty good. Whoa, oh my god. Okay, so these guys are shooting at me from off the screen. So again, like there's so much, oh goodness gracious. Very, very suddenly so much tension and like I don't even know the controls. Like I don't have any room to even try the dodge button because I'm I'm facing a hail of bullets. All right, so I mean, based on what I can see of the combat so far, it's pretty unusual in my opinion to have this sort of omnidirectional shooter like this, but you're kind of forced to shoot in the direction that you're facing, right? Particularly these days, I think some of the older you know, console games that had this kind of gameplay were more like this. I'm talking like the 16-bit era, that kind of thing. But they generally incorporate some way of like locking your aim in one direction to kind of compensate for the fact that having to move in the direction you're shooting is pretty restrictive. So there's usually some, you know, just like a button you hold or something, and then it like locks your aim in that direction, and you can keep shooting in that direction and move in the opposite direction, that kind of thing. That's something I would consider pretty important for a game like this. It doesn't really feel good, in my opinion, to have to be forced to face, because so basically your movement is tied to your aiming. So naturally, it's not always ideal to move towards the enemy or towards what you want to shoot at. Sometimes you don't want to move towards them. Sometimes you have to move in a different way. So, you know, being able to manipulate your aim independently of that in some fashion really adds a lot to what you can do here. So that just stands out at me. I don't know if this like maybe some other button's going to be introduced that lets me do that. I don't know, but not sure. But the other thing is, so again, the movement, there's tons of inertia. I was pretty sure that was probably going to be a point that I was going to talk about. But it definitely feels like with this being very shoot 'em up, that's going to be a big issue. So in my opinion, the less inertia you can have on the movement, the better for this genre of gameplay. It just makes everything much more precise and responsive in your movements. So if you're gonna have all these bullets flying at you, I definitely recommend just cranking that down. Traditional, like unidirectional shoot 'em ups, you know, where you have like a jet flying across the screen, that kind of thing. These games pretty much universally have zero inertia, so it's just like all your movement is instantaneous, and that is kind of like a complete necessity for that genre of gameplay. I generally find with the omnidirectional shooters like this one, you can get away with just a little bit of inertia, but I do mean a little bit. Like the more you add, the worse it's going to be. So this is just, you know, from my experience, I hope it makes sense, but that'll make a big difference. I can already tell just from, you know, a little taste of the gameplay here. So in terms of the enemies, I mean, they were kind of shooting at you from off the screen a bit. They were kind of upwards, which is, you know, you can't see as far in the up direction with a 16:9 screen like I have. So they were a little bit off screen, but apart from that, maybe you could add a little bit more spacing between some of these shots, because it seemed like quite a constant hail of bullets. And I generally find if you can do things like have them, maybe they just like shoot 3 bullets quickly and then they pause for a few moments and then shoot again, that kind of thing. Do different timing things like that to just break up the streams of bullets, I think that tends to help out. I guess I leveled up. I wasn't paying that much attention to what was in the text box here while I'm yammering on. But I guess we just killed some random things. Is there something over here? More trash in front of the door. Alright, I guess just lots of empty space. Can I... Oh, I just randomly found a thing here. Okay, so I guess I can... It would apparently be helpful for me to just walk around and examine random things, but I don't necessarily feel like doing that, so I mean... I know that's not unusual in like, especially the older RPGs and stuff. I mean, JRPGs, but... yeah, I mean... I like being able to get like little bits of flavor text like this, if you just feel like examining things in the environment. But I don't necessarily feel compelled to walk around and doing this everywhere, so like when you start hiding little goodies that can actually kind of improve your character and stuff like that, then it kind of encourages that sort of play, and I'm not sure if that's good or bad. I don't know. So is this a... okay, I guess it's a door of some sort. Security shutter, a slot where the keycard can be inserted if there are people staying in these rooms, then I may be able to obtain a keycard by talking to them. So I think what I'm going to do is set that guy to fast. And escape unfortunately doesn't back me out of here, so I just want to get back in the game as quick as possible. That's another reason why it's nice to just have escape be a sort of back button in the menu here. Alright, so something about I don't even remember what it said. Like somebody with a keycard could let me out. Maybe I talk to this guy, I guess. Okay, why is it saying that when I'm like facing him? Wow, the movement's really crazy. Okay, so yeah, I'm not really sure why I can't talk to him from the other side of the bed. It's a little weird. Keycard to the guy who lives on the 3rd floor. I haven't seen him in a while. I have one as well, but why don't you get your own copy? That way you can open any other doors or shutters I come across. Inside a room on the 3rd floor, there's a little nightstand. In the top drawer, I keep a spare keycard. You can have it. But the door's locked. Better take this. Oh, so I think that was something I noticed from before. So I guess we have to go all the way back. So he says like the 3rd floor, but apart from the fact that I happen to remember trying something somewhere that said it was locked before, vaguely. I mean, again, I have a bad memory. I don't necessarily know where like the 3rd floor is. I guess there's only one way for me to go though, so it's gonna be right. So that's gonna indicate the floor numbers right there. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not anywhere else for you to go, so it's not that hard to figure out. Why can't I go out this door? By the way, it's weird to have that opening there and just it doesn't function. So obviously I can see it from out here, but there's no indication from the inside that there's a door there and that it's closed, you know? Or it's not able to be opened. That looked weird. Alright, so somewhere there's... Oh, I think it actually had a little sparkle on it, didn't it? So again here, I can't go in here for some reason. I have no idea why. Like it seems to be woof. Alright, yeah, and you don't have a lot of reaction time, like when you get thrown into the combat here. It's like you immediately get bullets shot at you. My gosh, the combination of... Oh no. So the combination of how slidey you are and having to face towards the guy to shoot at him, it makes it very hard to control. The other thing I'm noticing is that the... Oh boy. That felt way harder than it needed to be. Alright, so what I'm noticing is that your aiming direction doesn't just go in the last direction that you pressed with the arrow keys here. It's like when you press in a different direction than you're facing with the arrow keys, your character has to sort of I guess turn gradually in that direction. So you have to like hold that direction for a little bit before your aim will fully go in that direction. So what that means is I can't just like if I'm going left and right, I can't just tap up and then hit shoot and it'll shoot upwards. That's kind of what I expect, but instead I have to hold up by a certain amount or something because it takes time for the aim to adjust, I guess. Um, Again, it just makes the aiming much harder than it really ought to be here. So again, I've barely scratched the surface of the gameplay here, but I can already tell that this is going to be kind of a crucial element here. So you're building the game around the shooter concept, and I have quite a bit of experience with shooters, and I back in the day I used to try to make them, and then I never got anywhere with that. But I picked up a lot of stuff about what the fundamental elements are of the gameplay there, and it's really crucial. You need to have low inertia. You need to have the ability for your bullets to go where you need them to immediately and that kind of thing. So definitely for this, what you've got going here, I would recommend working it out so that your aim kind of updates instantly when you hit a different direction. So if I press left, it'll just instantly set my aim to left, that kind of thing. And you could do sort of an 8-way with what you've got here. You can do that way, and there's some kind of weird effect where some of my shots are going diagonal, even though I'm not pressing diagonal, or maybe I am inadvertently. I don't know, but I would do that, and definitely recommend adding in some way that I can lock in my aim by holding a button or whatever. You do those things in addition to lowering the movement inertia dramatically to almost nothing. This will immediately become way more pleasant to play, and the controls will feel so much better. It'll be easier, but it'll be easier in a way that's kind of correct. So you don't want to make a game that's hard in ways that aren't fun, right? So in this case, it's just the controls kind of not really working well. So that'll make a big difference. And then what you can do is you can kind of make you can make the enemies harder in other ways, and then it's like, oh, now it's so much more exciting because I can actually control it super well. And that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely recommend those things. Another thing you could do, obviously, which is what most, I guess, modern games in this genre do, is to do some kind of a different control scheme that lets you, move with this input and then aim with that input. So you can do sort of a dual stick, or you can do it with the mouse and the keyboard. Obviously, that'd be a little different. I don't blame you for not doing that if you don't want to, because the sort of older style that I mentioned is kind of appealing as well, especially if you have like a gamepad. In my opinion, it can feel kind of cool. I don't know if the gamepad is supported with these controls right now. I'm not sure. Maybe I should try it. I'm actually gonna plug in that controller real quick. So I apologize for not actually getting into the game very much, but I think that. Oh, okay, so I can move at the least. Part of the problem here is that most of my controls are disabled at the moment anyways, because I'm not in combat. So, but I'm also noticing that none of the buttons I'm pressing on the gamepad are causing the run to happen. Yeah, so I'm pressing all the buttons, so it looks like we just have kind of a default movement tied to the thumbstick here, and nothing else is bound to the gamepad currently. It does have fully analog movement, it looks like. But go ahead and unplug that. Let's see what else we can do here. Shutter keycard. I'm actually wondering, I think you might have your diagonals moving faster than your cardinal directions here. So that's sort of a common, um, sort of an amateur mistake. I don't want to make it sound bad like that, but okay. So, um, I don't know how do I explain this best. It's just a natural thing. If you combine two, if you combine the motion in two directions, the resulting motion is going to be faster than either one individually, right? So you move diagonally, it actually moves faster. If you don't compensate for it. So the way to compensate is really simple. You just multiply the resulting speed by 0.707. It's just how the math works out. It's just Pythagorean theorem. So that's something to take note of. I'm pretty sure it's one of those things you just have to notice sort of by feel, but it seems to be the case. I think. So we're just going... I didn't actually mean to go in there. There we go. Now I don't know what that sound is, but I guess we're gonna find out. This is really... Oh! Whoa! What was that giant flash, though? Oh, I guess that was me transforming. A little disorienting because the big flash just kind of covered up a lot of the screen here. Oh my gosh, I can't aim, though. Oh no. Oh gosh, yeah, it's super mega hard to aim. It's so mega hard to aim in this game right now. Oh gosh. Yeah, it's gonna be super hard to both aim and avoid the damage here. Just because of the nature of the way you've got things rigged up here. Oh my gosh. Alright, there we go. Yeah, so I mean, I can also tell we have like a ton of HP. It's sort of customary in shoot 'em up games to not have much HP because generally if you design the game well, then you can avoid dying by actually avoiding the shots quite effectively, and that's where a lot of the gameplay goes. So a lot of times if you just have like a ton of HP, it's sort of... You have to be careful as a developer because it ends up sort of compensating for some poor design choices if the player can just eat a bunch of damage. So ideally you want the player to always be able to avoid damage if they're skillful enough. And if you design the game that way, then you tend to balance the HP pool a little bit lower. I'm not saying you have to make the game super hard because maybe you don't want to... you know, your target audience might not be the really hardcore shmup players or whatever, but just the concept, you know, be careful about balancing the game in a way that makes you sort of get a little bit lazy with designing the attacks and stuff if the player can just tank them and survive for long enough to win anyways. I don't know what else was I gonna say. I guess so. The other thing that comes up in shoot 'em ups all the time is the size of the colliders. I don't really know where my colliders are on my character or anything. I wish I could use the mouse here to... Yeah, actually, I wonder if I can... No, doesn't show up. Okay, no big deal. Yeah, so I just advocate for like making the colliders for your character nice and small. In this type of game in particular, because it's frustrating if you're trying to dodge bullets and one just kind of grazes your hair or something and you end up taking damage for it. It doesn't feel very good, so it feels better if you only take damage when it really like smacks into the middle of your character. The way to make that happen is to make your collider nice and small inside the sprite, and also, you know, you have to manage the colliders of the bullets and stuff like that. But hopefully that's the general concept explained well enough. I guess we're going this way. Again, I'm not actually sure where the colliders is. That's another thing. So if I'm tasked with dodging bullets, interesting. It's helpful to have some kind of idea where the colliders are on my character, because sometimes you need to make little tight judgments like that. I'm not really sure at this point where that ends up being. Sometimes people put the, like with this perspective, sometimes people put the collision like around the feet or something, and sometimes people do like the whole sprite. I don't know. It depends on the developer, I guess. I did. So sassy. I don't know. Strange customers. You're a bit strange yourself. This woman doesn't have much of a filter, does she? Being watched. Can I just D out of here? Okay, so I'm kind of forced to talk to this person. It's a little weird feeling. Usually this kind of thing, it's like more optional to do all this dialogue, but I mean, there are some games where you're supposed the game kind of expects you to go through every dialogue option one by one until you can keep playing. I don't know if that's the idea here. Spotters are living in the hotels. Yeah, so usually if you're expected to go through each of these systematically until you've read them all, usually they take away the options that you've already selected previously from the list. So you don't like select them again or whatever, and it just kind of communicates the idea that you're making progress and getting through this part of the game. How old are you? She's 18. Okay, so my character's sassy, and that lady is like... something about that girl. There's a little save station here I just noticed. This doesn't really stand out that much in my opinion. I think you want a save station to be like the thing that you can always see immediately, like anytime you walk into a place kind of thing. If you look at any old like JRPGs or whatever, the save station is just like the thing that just commands all the attention whenever it appears. You don't want players to miss something like this, isn't it? F, yes. Alright. Exit is down here. What does that say? Oh, bar? B-A-R? Text is not very legible. And I'm afraid if I, for some reason, happen to have a machine that was not with like a 1080p screen, like something lower res than that, then that would be completely illegible. I mean, it already is kind of illegible, but yeah. So here's the bar. There's this edgy-looking girl just hanging out here. I'm trying to talk to her. Another one of Dad's employees. Okay. So, right. So I'm noticing however the collision or whatever is working for talking to characters is a little particular. So in this case, like I can't, I'm clearly, oh. Okay, that was strange. Okay, so you can see I was trying to walk to the right and I believe I was colliding with this character because I wasn't moving. And then like I walked to the left a bit and then I walked right again and suddenly I'm not colliding anymore. I don't know how that happened, but I guess like, okay, so my point, what I was saying before I interrupted myself is that like I'm hitting the F key here. I feel like I'm running into this character and hitting F and it's not working. So it seems like it's weirdly particular that you really have to line yourself up a little bit too much or something to be able to talk to characters. It just seems like an unnecessary hassle for the player there. There's someone here. Lots of little girls just around in the casino. This is an actual... Yeah, what are you doing here? Anyways, I don't particularly care to talk too much right now. Been talking enough myself as I've been doing this playtest. Wow, the the parallax on the stuff in the ceiling is really trippy. It looks cool, but it's like messing with my eyes. Um, Also not the smoothest scrolling here. I don't know what it looks like in the capture, but sometimes you get frame instability when you have borderless windowed mode as opposed to exclusive full screen. Exclusive full screen just kind of makes everything work really smoothly, so it's nice to have that option. Looking for an underage girl who works here, so I'm looking for that lady again. That's probably true. Oh, so that's weird. So I'm facing to the right. I'm talking to the bartender now. So yeah, it's definitely a little weird where these colliders are being placed. Creepy guy in the east wing of the casino. He said he'd hire me to be a model. I don't trust him. Alright. Look at all the little girls. What the heck is going on? I guess this is a slightly older little girl. Alright, so VIP hotel is up here. The elevator's locked. VIP guests only. I need a guest key card, so it's another key card, I guess. It's a little weird to like just be given a key card fetch quest sort of deal, and then like you kill one enemy. I don't know if it's like a boss enemy or something, but and then like you immediately go into another place that wants you to fetch more key cards. It's a little strange. So, okay, I can't actually go anywhere here, I guess. So I went over here before. A lot of girls have been missing lately. They must all be in the freaking casino. It's full of girls. Upstairs. So I have to get upstairs, obviously. Oh wait, she has the thing. Wait, she said dad's what? I don't remember what she said. I wonder if she's gonna repeat herself here. Alright, so I have to like do this, I guess. Dad's new employee, right? Just not focusing as much on the text here. Okay. So I'm kind of lying about. I'm not gonna say nasty things to her because I need to coax her keycard from her, I guess. There we go. Just like that. Alright, got some EXP. She said something about doing it later, but I don't know if... I think it just works now, right? Alrighty. 1, 2, and 3. 1 is just wide open. Hello, who are you? Female guest. I was waiting for you. You're not room... Oh, okay, I was wondering. Detective, huh? In room number 7. Is that the girl I've been looking for? Can I get in? This is someone. Alright. Proposition. I can tell you about her, but first you'll have to help me out. I'm a detective staying here as part of an ongoing investigation. A bit of a roadblock. I need someone to help me, and I don't even think my partner would be able to help wherever she is. Afraid she's a terrible actor. She needs some documents. It's a bit sketchy. You're just gonna steal the documents from a business like this, a casino. Alrighty. Worker's uniform. It's funny to... I got the new outfit. It's funny to trust some random stranger you just met with, like, super important, sneaky, stealing business like this. In any case, yeah, so I mean, things have slowed down a bit. I noticed kind of what I was talking about before a little bit as well. Like, you kind of introduced the action gameplay, but it's just so brief. Like, I never even got to play with the other buttons that I mentioned. Like the I guess it's a slow move and a dodge button. I've never even used the dodge button before. It feels like I'm getting into all this gameplay and I like just like haven't even the actual action bits I've encountered before were just so brief that I didn't really get a handle on the actual gameplay here, apart from obviously, you know, this sort of stuff with you know, walking around talking to people. Here we go. So I don't know where I am. That girl's just staring out the window. Is this the third floor? I think I just walked through a door and then it's like... Is that supposed to indicate that I'm on the third floor now? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think I just went in a doorway. But there's like cubicles and stuff, so it makes me think maybe the thing's here, but maybe... I don't know what floor I'm on, to be honest. I know I'm not on the first one because I did the VIP thing, took me in an elevator. Just talk to someone. Waiting for my ride. Let's talk to this girl in the cubicle. Boy, for not being able to talk, you're sure talking a lot. Okay. So I'm not seeing any like sparkly bits or anything. Just laying around. There's someone else working here. A minor is lying about her age to work here. In fact, that rumor was probably not about me, but might as well be. Yeah, I don't see any doors or things to go to another place, but I also don't see any sparkly bits from these documents that I'm supposed to be stealing. So maybe... Oh, there's this. Well, it looks the same. Other places as well here. Company website. Am I just supposed to be examining random things like this? This is apparently the keyboard, or the computer, sorry. Gosh, I didn't mean to do that again. Taco salad. Alright, it takes a while to get through all the dialogue if you just want to kind of skip through it. Like, you can speed up the text if you hit the button again, but there's still these little transition times where it's sort of fading in the text box. In and out and that kind of thing. I guess I did that one before. I don't think I could steal from under this girl's nose. I was talking to the lady. So I'm kind of facing towards these little, whatever little drawers or something that look like they have little documents on the top of them. I think it's actually considering, I think it's doing it as if I'm facing the computer or something. I don't really know. Should I keep doing this? This says job applications. Does this one work? A fox wallpaper. It's kind of interesting that they popped up the whole character portrait for that. But yeah, so this playtest is kind of grinded to a halt here because I'm just wandering around trying to find some random thing. And I don't have any kind of a clue of where I should be looking, so... Just a random desk. Boy, I don't know. Alright, did I exhaust all of the little areas up here? Did I miss any of them? I don't know. Am I supposed to be... There's the taco salad. I think I did all those. I can't find anything here, I guess. I think I did all of these. No. Oh boy. Oh, I'm super stuck. Okay. That was interesting. I'm noticing there's a lot of kind of friction with the walls and stuff here too. Maybe something a little bit annoying when you're, particularly when you're like trying to move diagonally and I'm holding run the whole time, but it's kind of like it's slowing me down a lot. Sort of a weird issue. I remember at one point I was working on a game with somebody which ended up not panning out, but we had this kind of issue with the walls feeling sticky, and we kind of partially remedied it by doing something with a friction material or something, like set friction to like 0 or like a very, very low value. I don't remember what it was exactly that we did. It was something like that. So yeah, I don't know what to do anymore, but this is probably a good stopping point. I think I probably gave enough feedback as it is, and I have no idea how long it would actually take me to figure out the rest of this. I'm sure I could talk to more people that are here, etc. But yeah, so hopefully this was useful for you. Didn't mean to go in here, but there's some dudes here, it looks like. So yeah, there's plenty of kind of cute style and stuff, and the dialogue's actually pretty good, I think. And so that's nice. Hopefully this was a helpful playtest for you. Go ahead and let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.